The bedroom looks like a hospital room now. IV pole in the corner, monitoring equipment humming softly. Conrad Murray, in his white coat, standing over Michael Jackson, who lies pale against ivory pillows. It's 2 a.m., June 2009, inside the Carrollwood mansion in Holmby Hills, and this has become the nightly routine. Murray holds a small glass vial, propofol, the milky-white surgical anesthesia they call milk. Michael can't sleep. The comeback tour starts in 3 weeks. 50 shows at the O2 Arena, a $400 million contract. Nobody else in the house knows what's happening behind this closed door. Not the bodyguards downstairs, not Michael's 3 children sleeping upstairs, not the AEG executives counting ticket sales. Just Murray and Michael and the vial. The arrangement was simple. $150,000 a month to keep the king of pop sleeping. But what Murray's doing isn't medicine. It's something else entirely. And in 3 weeks, this bedroom will become a crime scene. February 2009. Conrad Murray's cardiology practice in Las Vegas sits in a strip mall off Boulder Highway. Patient files stacked in boxes, bills overdue by 60 days. The phone rings. It's Michael Amir Williams, Michael Jackson's personal assistant. The message is simple. Michael wants a personal physician for his comeback tour. 50 shows at the O2 Arena in London. Murray would travel with the crew, monitor Michael's health, handle anything that comes up. The offer, $150,000 a month. Murray's clinic owes $400,000 to creditors. His houses in Las Vegas and Los Angeles face foreclosure. He says yes immediately. No contract is signed, but AEG Live, the tour promoter, confirms the arrangement verbally. Murray's first visit to the rented mansion at 100 North Carrollwood Drive happens 3 weeks later. Michael Jackson, pale and thin, greets him in the foyer. The king of pop needs one thing: sleep. When you pay someone enough, normal becomes whatever keeps you working. April 2009. Inside the Carrollwood mansion, Michael sits across from Murray in the upstairs bedroom and makes his request clear. I need milk. Murray, a trained cardiologist who spent 20 years treating patients in Houston and Las Vegas, knows exactly what Michael means. Propofol. The drug's street name came from its appearance: white, milky liquid administered through IV. Hospitals use it for surgeries, putting patients under within seconds. It requires constant monitoring, specialized equipment, and emergency protocols. Nobody uses it at home. Michael insists he's had it before, that other doctors gave it to him on previous tours, that it's the only thing that works. Murray hesitates for exactly 1 day. Then he calls Applied Pharmacy in Las Vegas. The order: 255 vials of propofol, shipped over 3 months to Nicole Alvarez's apartment, Murray's girlfriend, who doesn't ask questions. The first FedEx box arrives 3 days later. Inside, 10 bottles of Diprovan, the brand name propofol. Michael's nightly routine begins immediately. The pharmacy owner would later testify he warned Murray, "This is dangerous for home use." Murray assured him it was fine. May through June 2009, the Carrollwood mansion becomes a makeshift hospital every night. Murray arrives around 9 p.m., carrying his medical bag up the carpeted stairs to Michael's bedroom. The door closes. Security guards at the front gate log his arrival and departure. 10 a.m. the next morning, every single day. Inside the bedroom, Murray sets up an IV pole, prepares the propofol, and infuses Michael Jackson with surgical anesthesia to sleep. Michael's 3 children, Prince, Paris, and Blanket, sleep upstairs, unaware their father is being put under like he's in an operating room. The household staff knows Murray stays overnight, but doesn't know why. Michael's bodyguards see the doctor coming and going, but never enter the bedroom. Court testimony would later reveal security logs documenting this routine for 8 weeks straight. Murray watches Michael breathe, sometimes. Other times, he steps out to make phone calls, check his other patients remotely, handle personal business. The IV drips. Michael sleeps. Nobody questions the arrangement. The tour is too big to stop now. What you don't see can't hurt you, until it does. June 2009. Trouble surfaces in emails between AEG Live executives and Kenny Ortega, the tour's director. Michael misses rehearsals. When he shows up, he's shivering in the California heat, wrapped in layers, weight dropping fast. Ortega writes to AEG CEO Randy Phillips, "Michael's not right. He's not focused. Something's wrong." Phillips responds with concern about the tour's $400 million investment and asks why Murray, who they're paying $150,000 a month, isn't fixing whatever's happening. Murray reassures everyone. Michael's fine, he tells Ortega and the AEG team during a tense meeting on June 20th. Just stress from the tour pressure. He'll be ready. Ortega wants to believe it. The crew wants to believe it. Tickets are sold. The show must go on. Nobody digs deeper. Nobody asks what Murray's doing in that bedroom every night. Email chains released during the 2013 wrongful death trial showed the warning signs were there, documented in writing, but ignored because the machine was already moving. The subject line on one email haunts everyone who reads it later. Trouble at the front. But frontline soldiers don't question orders when the general says advance. June 19, 2009, Staples Center, Los Angeles. Michael Jackson takes the stage for his final full rehearsal, and something magical happens. He nails Billie Jean. The moonwalk is flawless. His voice is strong. The crew, who've been watching him deteriorate for weeks, erupts in applause. Ortega breathes relief. Maybe the crisis is over. Maybe Michael just needed time to find his rhythm. Footage of this rehearsal would later be shown in court and released as the documentary This Is It. Proof that Michael Jackson, just days before his death, could still perform at the highest level. But the footage doesn't show what happens after the lights go down. Murray continues the nightly propofol infusions. Michael tells him during one session, "I'm fine now. I think I can sleep without it." But that night, he can't. And the next night, June 24th, he asks for milk again. The perfect rehearsal masked complete dependence. The world saw the king of pop returning to form. Murray saw a man who couldn't sleep without being put under. Those are two different truths, and only one of them mattered when the sun came up on June 25th. June 25th, 2009 starts at 1 a.m. when Michael Jackson tells Murray he can't sleep. Murray tries everything else first. He gives Michael Valium at 1:30 a.m. Nothing. Lorazepam at 2 a.m., a sedative typically used for anxiety. Michael stays awake. Midazolam at 3 a.m., another benzodiazepine. Still nothing. Michael paces the bedroom, agitated, desperate, begging for milk. At 10:40 a.m., more than 9 hours after Murray arrived, he finally administers 25 milligrams of propofol through an IV line. This timeline would be reconstructed through phone records, testimony, and forensic analysis presented at trial. Michael finally goes under. Murray watches for 11 minutes, then his phone rings. It's 11:18 a.m., his girlfriend in Houston. He talks for 3 minutes. Another call at 11:49 a.m., a Las Vegas patient. Another call at 11:51 a.m. During these calls, Murray isn't watching Michael. The bedroom door is closed. Michael Jackson stops breathing somewhere between 11:51 a.m. and 12:02 p.m. Alone, with an IV of propofol running into his system. Murray's iPhone records, entered as evidence, would show 3 calls between 11:18 and 11:51 a.m. Precise timestamps that prosecutors would use to construct a timeline of abandonment. A second player had entered the story: distraction. And distraction, in a surgical setting, kills. 12:02 p.m., Murray walks back into the bedroom and finds Michael Jackson blue. Lips cyanotic, pupils dilated. No pulse. Murray panics. He performs CPR, but on a soft bed instead of a hard surface, rendering it mostly ineffective. He doesn't call 911. Instead, he calls Michael Amir Williams, Michael's assistant, and screams for help. Williams calls security. The bodyguards rush upstairs. Only then, at 12:21 p.m., 19 full minutes after discovering Michael unresponsive, does Murray tell someone to call 911. The 911 call recording, played repeatedly in court, captures Murray in the background saying, "Michael Jackson is still breathing." He isn't. Paramedics arrive at 12:26 p.m. They find Michael cold to the touch. No viable pulse. CPR in progress, but clearly futile. On the nightstand, a small glass vial of propofol, half empty. IV tubing still connected to Michael's leg. Medical equipment scattered across the bedroom. The paramedics ask Murray what drugs Michael took. Murray mentions lorazepam and some sedatives. He doesn't mention propofol. Not yet. Paramedics work for 42 minutes trying to restart Michael Jackson's heart. At 1:07 p.m., they transport him to Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center. The whole way, Murray rides in the ambulance, still not disclosing the propofol. Photos taken by investigators that afternoon show the nightstand clearly. Vial, IV tubing, medical tape. The thumbnail moment that would define everything that came next. At UCLA Medical Center, doctors ask Murray again, what was Michael on? Murray admits to propofol but downplays the amount. He claims he gave only 25 milligrams, a small dose. He doesn't mention the other bottles in the bedroom. He doesn't mention the nightly routine. He doesn't mention the 9-week pattern of putting Michael under every single night. At 2:26 p.m., doctors pronounce Michael Jackson dead. Acute cardiac arrest. Murray leaves the hospital without speaking to LAPD detectives who've arrived on scene. He doesn't return to the Carrollwood mansion that evening. The next morning, while the world processes the news, TMZ broke it first at 2:44 p.m., 14 minutes after the official pronouncement. Investigators photograph the bedroom. They find propofol bottles in the closet, 7 of them. They find receipts, medical equipment, and IV supplies. They find Murray's medical bag, half-packed, like he was preparing to disappear. Hospital staff testimony would later reveal that Murray's story kept changing. First, I gave him a little propofol. Then, maybe more than I said. Then, he was addicted. I was trying to wean him off. Lies documented minute by minute, recorded in hospital charts, captured in investigator notes. The cover-up began before Michael Jackson's body left the mansion. When the truth is a crime, lying becomes automatic. July 2009, LAPD detectives execute search warrants on 3 locations: Murray's Las Vegas clinic, his Houston office, and a storage unit in Los Angeles. They're looking for medical records, purchasing receipts, and any evidence of propofol. What they find exceeds expectations. Applied Pharmacy in Las Vegas provided 255 vials of propofol over 3 months, all shipped to Nicole Alvarez's apartment, Murray's girlfriend, who's now pregnant with his child. Tim Lopez, the pharmacy owner, gives a deposition. "I told Dr. Murray this was dangerous for home use. He said he knew what he was doing." Prosecutors obtain Murray's financial records showing his desperation. $400,000 in debts, 2 properties in foreclosure, child support arrears to multiple women. The $150,000 monthly payment from AEG was his lifeline. On August 28, 2009, the Los Angeles County coroner rules Michael Jackson's death a homicide. Cause: acute propofol intoxication. Contributing factors: benzodiazepines. The coroner notes that propofol, combined with other sedatives, created a fatal respiratory depression. Murray hires lawyers immediately. He stops speaking to investigators. Evidence bags pile up in LAPD storage. Numbered vials, chain of custody forms, medical receipts. This isn't a mystery anymore. It's a prosecution waiting to happen. January 2011, the people of California versus Conrad Robert Murray begins in Los Angeles Superior Court. 49 witnesses testify over 6 weeks. The prosecution's case is surgical. Murray administered propofol in a home setting without proper equipment, left Michael alone, and failed to call 911 for 19 critical minutes. Medical experts testified that the standard of care for propofol requires constant monitoring, emergency resuscitation equipment, and immediate response protocols. Murray violated all 3. The defense argues Michael Jackson self-injected propofol while Murray was out of the room, that Michael, desperate for sleep, grabbed the vial and pushed it into his IV himself. The jury doesn't buy it. Michael's children are mentioned during testimony, their trauma acknowledged but not exploited. Outside the courthouse, fans hold vigils daily, carrying photos of Michael, singing "Heal the World." The trial becomes global news. CNN covers it gavel to gavel. On November 7, 2011, after 9 hours of deliberation, the jury returns a verdict: guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Murray sits stone-faced as the verdict is read. Michael's family members cry quietly in the back row. The verdict form, marked "guilty," with the jury foreman's signature, becomes an artifact. Justice, in this case, took 2 years. 2 years for a life. Math that never adds up. November 29, 2011, Judge Michael Pastor sentences Conrad Murray to the maximum, 4 years in Los Angeles County Jail. During sentencing, Pastor speaks directly to Murray. Dr. Murray engaged in a recurring, continuous pattern of deceit and lies. This was a horrific violation of trust. Murray is handcuffed in the courtroom. Michael Jackson's mother, Catherine, and siblings watch from the gallery. Murray will serve his time in county jail, not state prison, due to California's prison overcrowding crisis. With good behavior and early release programs, he'll be out in less than 2 years. October 28, 2013, at 12:01 a.m., Conrad Murray walks out of Men's Central Jail in downtown Los Angeles. Media trucks line the street. Cameras flash. Murray makes no statement. He enters a waiting car and vanishes into the Los Angeles night. 2 years served for involuntarily killing Michael Jackson. The sentence sparked fury among fans and legal experts who argued Murray's gross negligence warranted more. But California law had limits. 4 years was the maximum. Murray had reached it. The reflection is obvious but brutal. You can take a life through negligence and walk free before the victim's children finish middle school. Between 2013 and 2016, Conrad Murray goes on a media tour. He appears in a documentary titled Michael Jackson and the Doctor, A Fatal Friendship, where he maintains innocence. He writes a book, This Is It, The Secret Lives of Dr. Conrad Murray and Michael Jackson, claiming Michael was a drug addict who manipulated doctors. Murray paints himself as a victim, someone who tried to help Michael but was overwhelmed by the star's addictions. The Jackson family responds with outrage. Fans protest at book signings. CNN interviews Murray. He repeats his claim that Michael self-injected. Medical experts, the same ones who testified at trial, call the claim medically implausible. Murray's medical license is permanently revoked in California, Texas, and Nevada. He cannot practice medicine anywhere in the United States. The book sells poorly. The documentary receives mixed reviews. Murray's attempt to rehabilitate his image fails. Public opinion remains fixed. He killed Michael Jackson through negligence, greed, and profound failure of professional duty. The words he spoke after prison, "I was trying to help him," rang hollow against the 19 minutes he waited to call 911. 2025, 16 years after Michael Jackson's death, the propofol vial from the bedroom at 100 North Carrollwood Drive sits in an LAPD evidence locker in downtown Los Angeles. The label has faded. The liquid is long gone, tested and retested by forensic labs. But the vial remains, artifact of the most scrutinized celebrity death in modern history. Conrad Murray is 71 now, living quietly, occasionally giving interviews where he insists history will vindicate him. History has not. Michael Jackson's children are grown. Paris, 26, Prince, 27, Blanket, now called Biggie, 22. They've spoken publicly about losing their father, about the trauma of that day. The legacy question persists. Was Murray a scapegoat for a system that enabled Michael's addictions, or was he a negligent doctor who prioritized money over care? Medical experts remain unanimous. Murray violated the standard of care. He left Michael Jackson alone with a running IV of surgical anesthesia. He failed to monitor. He failed to call for help. The vial tells the story. Small glass bottle, white liquid, medical label. The milk that promised sleep delivered something permanent, and the lesson, brutal and clear, echoes still. When you trust the wrong person with your life, you don't get a second chance.